everyone. Welcome to the Monterey Bay Aquarium, live all across the internet. We are waiting for the data to be sent. Hopefully you folks watching the replay are able to see what we are seeing, but good morning, everyone. My name is Patrick. I work at the Aquarium here in social media, and I'm joined, as always, by the wonderful Emily. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning, Patrick.
Hey, we are here live right now, kicking it with an acorn barnacle here in the morning. This is in a part of the aquarium that is next door to the aviary. And this acorn barnacle here, Emily, is one of those amazing little critters hidden all throughout the exhibit hall. There's so many of these out there in the wild. They're kind of covering the rocks. Many different species of barnacle all over the rocks. Can you tell us a little bit about what we're looking at? What is a barnacle? Because it's in a family of animals that we may recognize, but not necessarily in this form, right?
Yeah, exactly. So what you are looking at right now are actually kind of be like the barnacle's toes, almost like
Right,
its little feet
yeah.
sticking out right now. So when you look at a barnacle, it's totally different than what you would be looking at if you were looking at, say, like a shrimp. So these are arthropods that we are looking at right now that have just basically cemented their heads onto a rock, built themselves a nice little shell around their bodies, and now they are just sticking their feet up into the water column and filtering the food that's hanging out there. That's exactly what we're watching this morning. So right now you can see it kind of taking those little toeses of it and then kind of tucking it in, spreading them out in the water, catching anything that might be out and about, and then bringing it inside and into its mouth.
Exactly. Yeah. Imagine, folks, if you were out there going grocery shopping and what you did is you had someone pushing you along with the cart and then you were just kicking your legs at all of the aisles trying to get cereal or milk, whatever it is that you're trying to get into your shopping cart just by kicking it there. Or if you want, for all of the children watching, you have our official permission here from the aquarium. Ask your parents if you can try to eat your soup with the spoon there between your toes, and you get a little bit of an idea of how difficult life is there for a barnacle. But just like you were saying, Emily, they pile drive themselves into the reef. When they arrive, they just cement their face head down, start growing that shell around them. And barnacles, when they're larvae, they're out there in the plankton and they're kind of sniffing about, smelling, trying to figure out where other barnacles are, like, ooh, this is a good barnacle spot. And then they go and recruit, is the term, when they leave the plankton and go and land on the reef around other barnacles there. But Emily, once they're cemented in place, kicking those legs around, reproduction can be rather difficult for barnacles, but they figured a way around it. We should let all the folks know here a little bit about that.
Yeah, so you might be able to see, actually, like you were mentioning, Patrick, around it on the screen right now, there are other barnacles that you might see over kind of towards the far let's see here, that's left.
Yes.
Made my little letters with my fingers there to make sure. The left side, every now and then another barnacle is kind of poking out, putting its feet out in the water. But all those kind of big dark shells around our barnacle eaten right now are other barnacles. So when it comes time to make more barnacles, you do what any logical barnacle would do and just kind of let everything go.
Yeah. And you're gonna have also with these barnacles, they have the males have one of the longest male genitals of
We're going there.
of any
Good
animal
morning,
out there.
everyone.
No, good morning. We want to let you folks know because there are so few barnacle facts that that really can make a lot of sense there. But the male barnacles, they will send out a penis out into the world and try to poke around and try to find where the other barnacles are when they are reproducing. So this is something that happens sometimes at the aquarium. If you're ever here and you see what looks like a worm exiting the barnacle there, that would be a male looking to mate. So they've figured out many different ways of not only surviving as a crustacean living solidly on the reef there, kicking their legs there into the water to try to grab passing plankton. They've also figured out ways of figuring out how to reproduce when they can't move around. And then also, Emily, a lot of these barnacles, they're going to be out of the water a lot of the time. They're going to be also hunted by predators. And so they have some neat adaptations there for keeping the water inside that little barnacle home from keeping those predators coming after them. Sea stars and oyster catchers might be coming after them. They've got some good defenses there as well.
Yeah, I mean, that shell of theirs is extremely, extremely tough to try and get through. And as you're watching the barnacle right now, you'll notice that it has almost like this little like pyramid that it's kind of closing itself up into to kind of keep the moisture in because, you know, oftentimes barnacles are exposed to the elements out there. They want to keep all that moisture in to stay nice and wet even during low tides, but also to keep all those animals out. So it's much tougher to try and get into those barnacle shells right there. Yeah,
and we're in an area of the aquarium where all around all of the decorations here of the exhibit hall, you'll see barnacles everywhere. And this is something, if you folks go out there to the intertidal, you'll notice that there's a barnacle zone and a mussel zone where the barnacles are able to survive out of the water longer and better than a lot of the mussels can. And so you'll find kind of everywhere where you walk around, if you like stop and you look straight down, you'll realize that you're not actually walking on rock anymore. You're walking on living rock, on living minerals that these barnacles are putting up. We should go to the chat real quick. Emily, I'm stumped by this question. I wanted to ask to see if maybe you know. I do not know. Do we know what type of calcium carbonate they've got in their shell that they're building up? I don't know there's different types. I don't know the specific kind. We'll look that one up for you folks. So if you're James Driscoll there on YouTube, send us a DM somewhere so we can follow up with you. I'm not exactly sure. You don't?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, not the specific kind off the top of my head.
But similar to a crab building a stronger and stronger shell around itself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. We had some folks. We want to say hello to Thailand. Thanks for tuning in. Hello, Italy. Hello, Stockton. Hello, Georgia. Hello, Bowling Green. Hello, Indiana. Emily, do you want to take the rest here? Let's see.
Hey, Toronto. Hey, Oregon.
Oh.
We've got Istanbul tuning in as well.
Let's see. Who else do we have? Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Oh, my goodness. So many folks tuning in from all around.
Baltimore, Maryland tuning in right now.
Nice.
Whidbey Island, Washington. In Arkansas and Texas. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I just noticed that my head was out of the way. I'm blocking some of the light off the window here. So if you see that little kind of glowy reflection on the window, I apologize. My head was the shield there for us.
You're in eclipse to our exhibit lighting to be able to bring you the beautiful corona totality of the barnacle experience that we're trying to bring to the world there.
Exactly.
Hello, Las Vegas, Elk Grove, Oklahoma City, Marina, Florida. Everybody is there. We've got Redding. Pennsylvania is there as well. Nevada. Oh, goodness. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have someone mentioning over there on Periscope, Muscle Zone is the name of my gym. Absolutely. Yeah. So the intertidal, between the tides, is a zone where there are a lot of extreme animals. And so, you know, we kind of fade these barnacles there into the background, Emily. You know, they're just kind of there kicking their legs. Oh, whatever. You know, we're maybe more interested in the fish or the sea otter that's going by. But barnacles are one of those animals that is crucial in grabbing food that's out there in the water column, digesting that, and then feeding it there to the reef. There's so many animals out there whose job it is to grab that food that's just going by and then making it accessible for other animals around them.
Exactly. You might actually see every now and then, I notice these little particles floating in the water across the screen, and that's exactly what this barnacle is looking to catch right now. This ocean that they live in is a soup. There's so much stuff just hanging out there in the water column. And as these filter feeders, these barnacles are catching all of that, bringing it in. It helps feed a lot of other animals as well. Those empty shells that it leaves behind when they die turn into homes for other animals. These are incredibly, incredibly important organisms out there in the ocean, in this ecosystem that they belong in. You know, they aren't just helping to feed other animals just by, you know, pooping and helping to feed the reef there, but they are food for other animals like those oyster catchers and sea stars that we were talking about before. Their shells then become homes for other animals. So every part of this animal's life cycle here, from plankton to barnacle and barnacle shell after death, is important as part of the ecosystem.
Absolutely. Oh, and Dinah Peak has a really great little anecdote. I've always called my niece my barnacle because she used to cling to me like crazy when she was little. Oh, that's adorable.
Really cute.
I hope you folks out there have your own little barnacles that you may know of. We had some folks asking, are barnacles harmful to whales and turtles. And yeah, you might know that there are some barnacles that love to attach to things that are moving out there. Gray whales, humpback whales, very famous for having lots of barnacles on them, and those are often whale-specific species of barnacle. There's also what are known as gooseneck barnacles that we also have here in this display. They're kind of sleeping right now, but those gooseneck barnacles are another type that you may find on open ocean buoys that are often, or like logs that may wash out during a winter storm. Those are going to have a lot of barnacles holding onto them. So not only are barnacles solidified in place on the reef here locally, you'll also find them out in the open ocean attached to anything that you may see. Your ship may be an inconvenience. If you're a turtle, certainly those barnacles not so much fun. But again, they're just hitching a ride out there to make a living gathering that food there from the water.
Yeah, of course, when you're attached to an animal, that means that you are now attached to an all-you-can-eat buffet, because you're not just stuck in one location. You can go wherever the food is going, because that turtle's going wherever the food is going, or that whale is going wherever the food is going.
Exactly right. Yeah, imagine putting that buffet on a train cart, just sitting down, watching the world go by while you're just chowing down on the endless bacon, just going for it. Not a bad life as a barnacle. Maybe, you know, get a few suction cups and a net and just like jump onto the side of a semi and then try to gather the food from the environment.
I mean, it would work if you're into bugs, I guess.
Right,
yeah. That would be a great spot to be a barnacle.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, we've got, well, I didn't bring lunch today, and now we know what we're going to try out. Perfect. Before we open here for the day, Emily, excuse me, but what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to spin this little wheel that we have here in the front. Emily, can you describe what the folks are about to hear? We have a surge machine in this specific area. We're going to see maybe the barnacle is just going to disappear back into its shell because the water current is going to change, but I'm going to add a little bit of water current here to the exhibit. So describe what we may see here from the barnacle.
Yeah, so what Patrick's doing right now, this tiny exhibit that we're hanging in front of has that surge machine, like Patrick said. He's going to spin this wheel. It's going to create a current, and so what we might see right now is that barnacle kind of tucking in and out, and even more barnacles around it, opening up and opening and closing as they catch particulate in the water. So if you hear some squeaking, that is the wheel that Patrick is spinning right now to create the current inside. And so you can actually see the barnacle was trying to orient itself a little bit into the current as Patrick was moving there.
Sorry to interrupt, Emily. It appears that I scared the barnacle a little bit by.
It's okay, yeah.
It's. I believe it's.
There it goes.
Yeah. Okay. There it went. So.
Spooked it.
Yeah,
it wasn't ready.
Spooked it a little bit there with the spin. So that is something that. So that was actually kind of fun that we were able to show you that behavior that the barnacle has, where those feeding appendages are crucially important for the barnacle. And so when I spun the wheel, it just like went and hid right back inside there.
I mean, they're really sensitive. They're picking up on all different kind of clues in the water, both physical clues from that current moving in the water there, to chemical cues in the water too. So it's able to detect all those little minute changes that's happening around it. And that one got spooked there, but now I can see even more barnacles kind of opening up
Realizing,
now. They're like, hey, wait,
breakfast?
Breakfast time?
Yeah. So we have a few questions here. So it can hurt the animal to remove those barnacles because the barnacles embed themselves into the flesh of the animal, so like a living wart there hanging out on top of you. So removing them not recommended there if you have them. Do the barnacles on whales have pressure endurance because they can go quite deep? It's a very good question. Yeah, they can seal themselves up. They don't have air pockets inside of them, so they're along for the ride wherever the whale ends up going. Great question there. And let's see, Emily, I think we're just about open here to the public.
Yeah, we got about 2 more minutes.
Do you have any parting words for us here with our barnacle buddy? Anything in particular about the barnacle lifestyle you wish to share with the folks?
I just wanted to thank everyone for sticking with us this morning. Yeah.
Nice. We've cemented our relationship with our audience out there with this barnacle.
With this hashtag no filter. Or all filter barnacle.
All filter. That's right. Well, what I just want to say is that for barnacles and for you folks out there, every day is leg day. Don't skip it. It's really important to to get those legs moving, get hustling and bustling to get that food out there, and that's what the barnacles are doing every single day. We can really get inspiration from them. They never skip a leg day. That was my one.
Yeah, it's reached the end of the stream when we've just spun into the puns.
Right, yeah. No, once we arrive at this state of deliriousness, we must close out the live stream. But folks, thank you so much for tuning in, for joining us here live at the Monterey Bay Aquarium here this morning, kicking it with one of our barnacles. We hope that if you're ever at the shore or at the aquarium, that you're able to spend a little bit more time looking in those cracks and crevices for those cool little critters that are hanging out there. Maybe something that you're not thinking too much about, but being able to spend a little moment there with a barnacle reminds us of all the amazing life that exists out there, doing its thing every single day, kicking its legs into the current just to make a living. Really kind of helps center me in this
no matter how
busy
big
day.
or small you are, you have an important role in the ecosystem, everything that you do.
Exactly right. Okay, folks, we are going to turn off our microphones. We'll let the stream run for just a little bit. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you again soon at the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and we hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.